what's up? Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Somebody give me an audio and a visual check there for me if you would. Make sure my mute isn't on right now. Cool. Alright, cool. All good, all good. Okay, so we'll get moving. I'll try to keep this one short tonight. I know you guys, Saturday night, who wants to be stuck on the internet, I guess. Yeah. So, yes, we are in storm level. We'll get to that in just 2 seconds here. I do want to go over the Schumann first, and then we'll go straight into the space weather. That's actually, was not a predicted storm. They didn't think we were going to get there, but we're there already. So, we will get to talking about that in just a second. Actually, let me say hi to everybody real quick. Hey, Tab. Everybody, we need to send some prayers out to Tab, okay? Yeah. So if you guys would, just pray for Tab. She's not feeling the greatest. And, yeah. So G513, good to see you. Third in line. Jacqueline, Sissy, Kiwi, Julie, IG, good to see you. Apple, Andy, third in line again. That's right. Mark, Diane, Paula, Greenie, Mary, Mark. What's going on, Closick? How you doing, man? Carolyn, Marty, Nicole, Tina, Heidi, Andy, Doug, Major Britt. That's right. That is right. Yeah. So, yeah, Mark's right there. We're at a KP of 5 right now, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But with the Schumann here, guys, there's nothing else to show you guys than what's different from yesterday, except for this. Okay. Everything else is pretty much still the same. So what we're seeing here, guys, is definitely a little bit of a spike. I wouldn't go too crazy with it, but if you guys are experiencing a little bit of moodiness or any kind of like ringing in your ears and stuff, this could be it. But as far as your Schumann goes, guys, there's not much more to show you than what I talked about yesterday. So if you guys want to hear what I had to say yesterday, just go back and watch that part of the video. It's typically at the beginning. So but yeah, so here's why most people are here right now. First off, let me say that they didn't predict this, okay? This was not a predicted thing. I was pretty much the only one even talking about the probability of a pretty decent size hit from this coronal hole. Not too many other people were actually talking about it because they didn't think it was going to be like this. And the reason I thought it was is because if you guys watch my previous videos, past few ones, I've been talking about the crazy little anomalies we're seeing on the magnetosphere. The models, this model here, we've been talking about that. And because of that, I thought that this coronal hole, even though it wasn't that big, definitely could give us a little bit more issue than what we would typically tend to see from a smaller solar wind stream. And I have to say, this wind stream is not supposed to be all that big. So, we'll just run with it from there. There's not much more I can say about any of that. But with the solar X-ray flux, this is what we look at for flares. We're not having any flaring at all. The sun is really, as far as sunspots go, there's nothing facing us right now. At least the last time I looked, there wasn't. So the X-ray is going to continue to just stay on the bottom. And is it good, bad? Well, it just is what it is. It will pick up. Believe me, it will. We've already seen it pick up a couple weeks ago, well, about a month ago now. And it stayed active, very active, for a very long time, 2 or 3 weeks. And eventually we're going to get there and it's just going to stay like that. Until we start going back into solar minimum again. But radiation, nothing going on there. Radiation with the proton flux here. This is what we look at for radiation storms. Nothing going on there. But obviously everybody's looking at this. Okay? That is storm level. We had a little bump here, and I thought that this is where we were going to get, and I thought, well, maybe it died off already. But this is very, very visual to show everybody what we were talking about yesterday. Remember we were talking about how the dense particles will sometimes build up prior to the initial blast? We were talking about that, and that's exactly what we've seen here. Okay, and then when it finally hit us, bam, there it is. So this really was the beginning of the solar wind stream, but because of the physics behind it, it had built up some density, and it finally caught up with that, and it bam, it blasted us. Now, this is the first initial spot right here, where, well, initial data point, I should say. Spot's kind of a ridiculous word to use there. But yes, that's storm level. And, you know, what can we expect with this kind of a storm level? Well, let me do this for you. I forgot to bring out that that particular part of this. This is G1, okay? So G1s we don't see a whole lot, and that's exactly where we're at right now. We will see an intense aurora. We will feel, you know, animals can have problems navigating because they navigate off of magnetics. You know, they sense that. That's how they know. A lot of animals pretty much know where magnetic north is. Their bodies tell them. It's kind of crazy. So, you know, that is what it is. Hey, thanks, Major. Appreciate that, Major Britt. Hey, Stu Ball, good to see you. Mary, good to see you. Dawn's in here, too. Awesome. Hey, OU812, Jeff Davis, baby. That's right. Good to see you. Autumn, Karen, KC. But, yeah, guys. Hey, Katrina. But, yeah, you guys, you know, if G1 storms, you know, yes, they're significant enough to talk about. They're definitely newsworthy, especially early on in a sun cycle, because this is typically what we will see. It's been a while since we've seen anything get over a G1. And when it did, it only got to like a G2, and it didn't stay there very long. So, you know, this is why we talk about this right now. You know, later on in the sun cycle, like 3 years from now, we're not going to be probably talking a whole lot about G1 storms, because they're going to be so common that we would just be repeating ourselves. We're going to be talking about G3 and G4, and possibly into G5 sometimes. Hopefully not too hard when we see those. You know, if it's too much of a G5, we won't be able to talk at all because it'll just knock the power out. But hopefully that doesn't happen, obviously. But it's always that possibility. Nobody denies that. Not even mainstream science. They won't deny that. It's possible. They know it's going to happen, and they're actually quick to say it. They just say pretty much what I say is we just don't know when. But we do know the signs. We do know the signs, and we do know why it's more possible now, because our magnetic field is measurably weaker, 25% weaker. So it's not going to take as much to really hit us pretty good. Now, like I said, with the G1 storm, auroras, earthquake upticks, all that kind of stuff is what we talk about. Not much more. Radio issues, some ham radio operators and things will start having some issues when stuff like this is going on. All those kinds of things kind of come into play there. All right. Now, if we get into G2, is it going to let me? Oops. I don't know what I did there. Hold on a minute. Let's just knock off of that. Give me a second here, guys. Sorry. Where did I take you guys to? Let's see here. Huh. Hold on just a second. Let me find my place here again. Okay, so let's see if it'll go this way. No? Huh. That's really weird. It'll usually just let me toggle through. I don't know why it's not. Anyway, we'll go through that later. I'm not going to go too much into that right now. We're not at G2 right now, so I'm not too concerned about it. But we'll check that out if we ever get there this time. All right. But as far as this goes, like I said, guys, G1's where we're at right now. So, and we did jump up there quick. Okay, we went from a 2 to a 5. That's a 3 jump within a 3-hour time period. That's significant. Okay, That's a pretty good jolt. When was the last G1? Probably a week or two ago, Dawn. It didn't last very long. It popped in there just for a second and then went back down. Again, what did we see? Pretty much what I just said. You know, and you can see their predictions here, guys. This right here shows that their predictions were way off. I don't want to say way off. And that's the wrong way to put it. I really shouldn't put it that way because it's not way off. You know, right here at this particular, their timing was off because this is 3 hour increment here, data point. Okay, so if you go up here, you're going to get 0 to 3, which is what this is, and it predicted us to be at a 3 on the KP. Well, we're at a 5. And then it said the next bar here should be a 4. And, you know, yes, it could drop back down just as quick as it came, but I don't think it's going to. I think we may stay there for a second. Because of some of the geomagnetism that was still kind of hanging around, I think that this may stick around just for a little bit longer than what it normally would. Okay? And I could be wrong on that, but I look for this to kind of fall off kind of slow. And then, you know, then they're talking about here, again, tomorrow. Okay? With another coronal hole string. That's what this is. That's why it's showing 4 at the turn of the day tomorrow. The same time right now, tomorrow they're saying we should have some geomagnetism too. Where's that coming from? Well, it's coming from another coronal hole. Okay, this hole right here is what we're getting the wind from now. The Earth is like in line right around here. So all these other little holes that are opened up, we were connected to them too. And they just kept sending wind. I've been talking about this. So we're going to have like a wave action going on, I think. And it's very evident, you know, here's the Enlil model. And obviously this is where we're at in time, okay? So they're saying that, you know, according to the NOAA prediction model here, this is conditions at Earth, this is density, and this is speed. And this is exactly what I explained yesterday, what was going to happen. We would see density spike before the wind speed. That's a classic coronal hole string signature, okay? When they both spike at the exact same time, then we're talking about CMEs and stuff like that, okay? But with this little buildup of density first, because we see that buildup. You know, if the density isn't getting carried away by the solar wind, it builds up. And what carries it away, like I just said, the solar wind, but faster solar wind will grab more of these. So that's why we see that buildup of density. One of the reasons. Not the whole reason, but part of it. Okay? But as you can see here, they're not really predicting much tomorrow other than a little bit of extended speed time. Okay? So I'm a little puzzled on why, you know, they're saying they're still saying we're going to get back up to a 4. Now with us getting up this high already this quick, this will probably change. Because this is going to add more geomagnetism already here. It takes a minute for this stuff to go away. Okay, it's not like a, you know, smack on the face and run. This stuff gets into our system, and if we've got this geomagnetism into our system already, yes, it does fall off, but it doesn't take as much more, just like with the flaring. Okay, if the X-ray's up here, it doesn't take much of a flare to really get us up in the higher flare levels. Same kind of thing. Stuff just builds up. Now, I want to show you guys something here too. I was looking at this earlier. Okay, so this is the ACE data, and I'm going to zoom in here because I want you guys to really see this one. What the heck am I doing here? Oh my goodness, Mark. Okay, anyway, we're going to pull that right over to here. Okay? But anyway, the BZ. This is where I was trying to say yesterday, telling everybody that the angle really matters. This is the angle of which the solar wind is hitting us, okay? Or, you know, our magnetic field kind of, it moves around. And it changes angles. There's a whole lot of different things involved there, okay? But if you see this right here, look what happened to the BZ right here. Now the BZ, like I said, it's the angle. When we look for -6 or greater. Now it was way down here. So stuff was coming in really, really easy. The angle was allowing it to. But look what happened here on the end. It shot right up into the positive. So in other words, that angle's not you know, the best thing that we look for to see if we're going to get more energy. Now, I do think that we're still going to stick around, and you know, we didn't get the storm level until about, where are we at in time here? Okay, so this is right about here. You see this right here? That's probably when we hit that storm level, I would assume. Because everything else was pretty much the same. Yeah, the solar wind speed here, it definitely went up. But you can even see how it's taking a little bit of a drop there. And the density did the same thing there. But, you know, with this BZ going up, we could come out of storm level pretty quick. You know, or it's just not going to allow the stuff to come in very easy. Now, we can still get into storm level. We can definitely still, you know, take hits even when the BZ's not right for it. But it makes it a lot harder. Now, the blue line, again, is the phi angle. It's the polarity of the solar wind. I'm not going to go into what that detailed this time. But you know, guys, I'm going to say something real quick, too. I know that I repeat myself a lot on what these things are. And I do that for the newer people because I want them to understand. But at some level, I'm going to have to back that down. I'm recognizing that I need to back that down a little bit. And the reason being is because, you know, I'm just repeating myself over and over and over and over again. And I think that, especially for those that stick around, it's probably annoying. I get it. So I'm going to try to bring it down to a level where everybody can understand, but not repeat and go so much into detail. I don't need to do that, I don't think. Most people just want a basic understanding. And there'll be times where I talk about a specific thing in detail. But I'm going to try to kind of bring that down, you know. So, yeah. So anyway. If you guys see the temperature here, it's kind of doing what it should do. Everything's kind of doing what we would expect to see with the solar wind increase. Or a coronal hole. Solar wind stream. Now obviously, guys, this is the aurora. We're going to go look at that in just a second on a different graph. If we look at this, let's back that off back to where it was. This is the magnometers. Obviously, it's going a little haywire here. Not too bad, but still, it's reacting. Electron flux. This is exactly what we would expect to see. The electrons are quote unquote flexing. Hey Candace, what's up? Hey Tracy. Catalina, how you doing? Or Katrina, sorry. Hey Rick. Daughter of the King, that's an awesome name. Love it. Bubba News in here. Hey Bubba, what's up? Anyway, you got, you know, the electrons are moving around, so that's, you know, that's what we see. I mean, I get it, right? Now, I do find it interesting that they stopped plotting. You know, right here, I guess maybe they should have, because they're only putting it at a KP of 3. I don't know why this hasn't updated yet. It's kind of what I'm saying. The last time that updated was that would have been, what, 3 o'clock UTC, which would have made it, let's see here, like around 10:30, 11 Eastern time this morning. So I don't know why this isn't updating right here. Everything else is. You can see how everything else is moving. But, you know, who knows? You know, everything else is showing like it should show. So there's nothing like crazy going on there. But it would have been nice to kind of see it right there. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Now, let's just go ahead and show you the aurora forecast. Obviously, auroras are going to, you know, they're kicking in. And I would imagine we're going to see some pretty good ones from this one, guys. It's going to be awesome to see these things. That's all I can say. You know, it really gets, this is something I really get excited about sometimes. You know, I really like seeing the aurora stuff. You know, it's one of nature's just one of God's nature's beauty type of thing, man. You can't top stuff like this. I don't care what kind of technology you got. Man, this trumps it straight up out. Just saying. So, yeah. Now, if you got ways to go out and see these things, if you're living in this part of the world, I would love to see some, people's own photography on this. But you can see how when it started upticking, this is the North Pole on the left, South Pole on the right. And see how it died off right there? Okay? That was like when we were really low. Okay? And then it just, wham. So right now, we're in the most intense part of it right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens from this point on and to see how this really pans out. But you can definitely see that that's intense. You guys have looked at this with me for a while. We see this, but not all the time, When it gets into the red, I've actually got some other geomagnetic storm level charts I can show you guys what happens to the aurora with each uptick of the geomagnetic storm levels. It like puts them side by side kind of thing. It's pretty neat to see. But you can see here, when we talk about mid-latitudes, you guys may hear that term. What that term means is high latitude is closer to the pole. Mid-latitudes, the direct middle point between latitude would be from the pole to the equator, right in the middle of those 2 points. Okay? That would be direct mid-latitude. It has a degree mark. I'm not sure what it is. I'd have to go look. It's simple enough to find. But the same thing's true on the South Pole. Okay, so if you live in the Southern Hemisphere and somebody says high latitude to you, you're actually going to go towards the South Pole. Now, I know it's kind of backwards of what we think, but we're not looking at a map. We're looking at a globe. And we're talking latitudes. So if you hear somebody say, hey, we may get aurora down in mid-latitudes, they're talking about stretching down closer to the equator. That's the terminology. So it helps people understand what people are saying with that. With the big polar vortex moving south, solar winds might be able to see the aurora borealis. Yeah, for sure. The next few weeks between winter storm, when it clears up at night, 100% correct, Bubba News. It makes a great point there, guys. Sometimes with these auroras will get down further down, but you got to think that there's cloud cover, right? So if the clouds are there, we can't see these anyway. So sometimes they do sneak down further, but there's cloud cover and we don't get to see as much of them. And in the wintertime, we all know how crystal clear the night sky can get when there's no clouds. It's a great point. And thank you for saying that. But yeah, so these will get down. You can tell where they're already into the northern parts of the states here. Yeah, this ain't gonna let me zoom in. But if you guys, take a screenshot and zoom in if you want. But as this, I've seen them get down into here. Okay, I've seen, I've been around long enough to see them down into Texas. Not very often, but it does happen. Now, something this graph doesn't show is wherever there's cracks in our magnetic field, you can see aurora right where those cracks are. But you have to be in the exact right spot at the right time. So, the Earth is taking a hit, not just on the North Pole or the South Pole. The particles will follow, just like what water does. They'll follow the path of least resistance into the system. Where's the least resistance at? On our poles. That's why they go there first. And that's why we see aurora where we see it. Okay? So, wherever there's cracks, stuff gets through. So, thank you, Remnant. Appreciate that. Hey, Dello, what's up? Christine, hey, good to see you. I think I said hi to you already, but hello again. Just in time. I love that name. It's cool. You saw a good-sized earthquake in the southern tip of Lake Baikal, Siberia today. That is. Oh, was there one in there today? Here, let's look at that real quick. Right here. Is that it? Probably. I would assume. That's Russia. That's a 4-4. Yeah, that's definitely that's an odd place. Now, what I will say is, a few weeks ago, there was like a 6 right here, if you guys remember. Oh, sorry, Christine. Hi. Maybe that'll make up for the last 12 times when I miss people. Is that it? Okay, yeah. That's definitely it. Now, check out what just happened when I clicked this map over. You got a 5 on the Pacific Ridge. Okay, so this just happened. Look at the timestamp. That happened 25 minutes ago. So those are significant earthquakes. That's a 5. How deep was it? Well, when I say that, I have to correct myself, because these things are going to come in at a default at 10 kilometers right away. Okay, that's what they do. And then they'll come back and adjust it to what it really was. Well, to what they say it is. But we'll just go with that right now. Again, you got all these other ones. Now, one thing I want to say, I'm looking at this as kind of an overall thing. This is the last 24 hours. From this point back 24 hours. This is a rolling 24-hour map. So if an earthquake happened a half hour ago yesterday, it wouldn't show up on this map. So I'm looking at this, and it doesn't seem to be very active. And what I mean, look at that. That's kind of strange. That's a strange one too. Wow. And why I say strange is because you don't usually see these boxes with these ones that are typically fracking operations. Okay? Because that's what when you see them in Oklahoma, the majority of the time they're from fracking operations. That's just what they are. Now here's one right there in the smack of China too. So these two are probably related in some way, shape, or form. And if you notice, look, and there's a lot of people that talk about this. This right here is a 5-4. That one's a 4-4. And that one's a 4-5. And it's kind of in between both of these. And it's kind of what we see. It's not in a straight line. But, sometimes the fulcrum point doesn't have to fall directly in the straight line. But it does, you could even go down and stretch these out and call this a straight line. The fulcrum point thing is most definitely valid. And there's a lot of other things that need to be thrown in with it. But fulcrum points is something I understand. And it definitely does make sense that should be taken in consideration when you're trying to predict an earthquake. So hopefully that, but Mark, thanks for pointing that out. I didn't see that one. That is kind of an odd spot for one, but there was one, like I said, a few weeks back. But we've seen a couple tremors over here since then, but that's a sizable one. So yeah. Let's go here. Now this is where I want to talk about our magnetosphere for a minute. Now you guys know I've been talking about this stuff, this weirdness happened back here, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit because of this weirdness, the weirdness continues as we get hit. I have never, first off, I'm just going to say it, I've never seen a pressure signature look so chaotic as this one does. Okay? Usually, anybody that's been watching me for a minute, it's a clear arc, and things just kind of symmetrically flow to the back. And even this will kind of be like this. Almost, not a straight line, but close to it. Okay? And sometimes it's a complete circle around the Earth like this. But that's our magnetic field. Okay? And what you're seeing here, guys, is a definite blast on our magnetic field. Okay? I mean, that's just what it is. But the stuff that's happening back here, what I've been talking about, is really, really strange. Okay, so I'm going to put these into motion here, and we'll go up here and look at them. Because a lot of this stuff is really, really strange. To the point where I don't know what to think about it. You know, I've been looking at this model, this particular magnetosphere model now for, I don't know, going on 2 years. But it's a fairly new model, but it definitely shows things in a good way. Okay, so this is the velocity. Now let's push play and we'll watch it. And you're going to see stuff just kind of moving around here in the back. Yes, we are getting hit in the front. Remember, we have to take that in consideration. But even when we weren't, yesterday and the day before, we were still seeing this funky movement back here. Okay, watch what it does right here. Okay, and if you look at this one, you can definitely see how stuff does move from right to left. Not always, but it will eventually. It'll push against that. Watch what happens here. See that? Now, again, we do get some sort of a rebound thing happening when we get hit. But when we're not getting hit and we see this crazy, stupid stuff behind us, you have to wonder. Now, what does this look like to you? Okay? When I show you guys LASCO C2, sometimes, not always. Let me see if I can't find one. I probably should have done this already, but this will show it good enough probably. Anyway, we'll see these like backward C shapes of plasma fire off the sun, right? So if you keep that in mind, you know, if you look at this, why would it be a C shape? Number one, because it should be actually this way, irregular like that. Okay, that's the backwards part of it, right? That's the frontward. We see the frontward C shape blow off the sun. So we're kind of seeing the same thing here, but it's a regular looking signature here, but it is that shape. If you think about what's going on here, it really should be arcing the other way. So why is it arcing here? It's like something is just not right. And again, I know there's a lot of theories out there on why this is happening. Now, when I see that really does kind of take me aback a little bit. And what I'm talking about, if you look over here, watch how fast this blue color shows up and where it starts from. It ain't starting from anything over here. It's starting right here. See that? Okay? And then eventually, you know, the regular solar wind will overcome it, whatever's going on there. But even that, it's really odd. Okay? Now that's just showing you speed, guys. Okay? That's all that this one is. This one's showing us density. And you're going to see the similar stuff. I mean, look at this odd looking shape we got going on. And again, guys, I mean, some of this stuff is very normal, but other parts of this is not what we typically see. And what I'm going to do is I want you guys to look like right here. And I'm going to move this slide bar kind of quick and watch what it's doing. It's actually like spinning right here. Okay? Now it's kind of like turning over on itself is what I'm saying. Horizontally. See that right there? Look right in here. See that? I've not seen this model do this. Now, again, this is, like I said, it's a fairly new model. So I don't know what, this may be normal. I don't know. But at the same time, again, I would, if this was being caused by a solar wind stream, then why did we see the same thing yesterday and the day before? Because we were. And I can show that. I mean, it's easy to show people because it's there. So I don't know what is actually happening. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like the energy there is definitely, rotating right there, whatever's causing that. But if we go on through here again, you're seeing stuff move from right to left, and you'll see it move from left to right. It's all going all kinds of crazy positions. It's kind of chaotic, just to be honest with you. Now, if we look at the pressure, this is where it's really going to get you, okay? Because this isn't density, this isn't speed, this is actual pressure. This is what this is, magnetic pressure. It's what this model is supposed to be showing us. So as we move, watch, even like these little balls of stuff just kind of, now that's solar wind, okay? It hits us and it goes over. We also have to keep in mind that this is not a three-dimensional thing, and it's trying to represent something that's three-dimensional, and it just simply can't do it right. So, if you guys really want to know what's up with that, yeah, just look at this. I mean, and you can see the pressure even right here at the same time. See it? So if we keep moving here, did you see that? Watch this right here. Watch it start, and bam, goes right into our magnetic field. See that? What was digging into us there? Watch what happens here. I've never seen this, the backside of a magnetopause do this either. Watch over here. You guys see that? I mean, that's this side over here should look like this. Okay? But it does that. And, I guess it could be from where it's rotating and we're kind of getting a side view of this. Who knows? But that's just really strange. Again, it's one thing that I've not seen before, and I'm not saying that there ain't some good explanations behind that. I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to show you the observation and let you guys see it. It did it again, even back here. So it's repeating itself. Does it there? Does it there? Now, in my experience throughout my life and anything that I've ever done, when something is repeating itself, that means something is constant. There's a common denominator. What is it? You know what I mean? There's a common denominator somewhere. What is it? Notice how, we get a similar bulge going on here, and you see how the pressure is actually getting into, really close to our planet, and the angle of what we're seeing here. Typically, when you see this angle, that means that we're kind of tilted this way. That's really what the BZ is kind of trying to show you. Not exactly, but kind of. I'll just put it, I'm trying to keep it in basic terms there. But you can see, guys, and it's repeating itself. So something's constant there. There's a common denominator on what's causing that. I just don't know what it is. Here's the other magnetopause models. These are the older ones, which, whatever. This is something that we've looked at for years. They were valid then. Why are they not valid now? Well, I've talked about this before. They may not be as good or be able to represent exactly what we want to see. And they've been able to improve them by going to this. But it does not, any way, shape, or form, mean that these things don't work or can't help us understand things. Okay? That's what I'll say. Because we shouldn't ignore any of it. Again, my opinion, but take it or leave it, whatever. It's there. But yeah. So as I grab this one, this is the magnetic line graph here. The blue lines up here, guys, here, I'll do this. The blue lines are the interplanetary magnetic field lines, our connection to the sun and other celestial objects. These blue lines are how the solar wind even gets here. Okay, it's our connection to the sun. The solar wind is charged particles, so it comes down that magnetic line. Why? because it has a polarity. That's what it's doing. Alright? So as we move here, and then the black ones are our pole lines, and the red ones are closed field lines. I'm not going to go into detail what that is, but as we move on here, what do I think it is, Tab? I honestly, I really don't know. If I even had a halfway opinion on what that is, I'd tell you. I just don't. There's so many different theories out there on what causes things like that to happen. And some of it's as simple as, well, sometimes our magnetic field gets stretched out that far, or it does deform that way. We get a rebound effect. There's other stuff talking about, big planetary bodies behind us, stars, whatever. There's a lot of different stuff out there. And I'm not going to put my hat on one of them, because I just simply don't have the knowledge base to tell you guys confidently what I 100% believe on that, because I don't even know myself. But you're seeing not much, right? We've seen our magnetopoles blow out big time on this, haven't we? I've shown it to you guys without us even getting really that much from the sun. So the other one I want to show you guys here would be this one. And it's kind of what I was showing you earlier, but this is going to show the chaos that's happening behind us too. Okay, you see how stuff's just moving weird here too at the same time? So what's that tell us? Again, it's telling us something is constant, because now we got two different models showing us very similar stuff. Now they're not going to be visually exactly the same because they're two different models. But what we're seeing here is crazy disruption behind us and from the front, okay? And again, guys, we can't forget the fact that we are getting hit with solar wind, okay? That's going to cause our magnetics to go a little haywire to some level. But why am I talking about it in this way right now is because that we were still seeing all this craziness back here even when we weren't getting hit yesterday and the day before. It just wasn't this intense. I showed it to you guys. I brought it up in both videos. So that's why that's kind of why I'm talking about it now. Something is different is what I'm trying to say. Somebody asked me, hey, thanks, John. Appreciate that. Baker, what's up? Not your business. That's right. Hey, Axe is in here too. That's right. EOD vet. We did cross over the sheet. Sorry. I was talking about that yesterday, guys. If you remember, I went over that. It's just different polarity sections of our solar system, and every once in a while we'll cross over that heliospheric sheet, and when we do, it does give us a jerk. Now they were predicting that to happen. Maybe that's kind of what we're seeing. I don't know, but we've seen it for 3 days now, 4 days. So I don't know if it was because we were kind of getting close to that line. And when we finally went over it, then it's just doing this crazy mess. Or if it could be because we got close to that line and it started to mess with us a little bit. And then all of a sudden, when we did cross over, it did do all that. And I even brought this up yesterday, if you remember, that if this solar wind and stuff, the increase that we were seeing, impacted us at the same time as when we crossed over that sheet, it could do this. Okay, it could push us up higher than what they thought. So that could very well possibly be what we're seeing here. The combination of crossing over that heliospheric sheet into different polarity, okay, at the same time as we're getting hit with solar wind. That could definitely be what we're seeing here. We'll have to wait and see how long this sticks out. We'll see what the next one is. Now they just, like I said, we've got probably 2 or 3 hours before, 2 hours probably before they post this next one. I'll probably try to come back on earlier on in the morning and see if I can't give you guys an update. But they're not even, they haven't changed their predictions here yet either. Okay, so this was unexpected that high. The solar wind stream itself was expected, but the strength of it was not. Now here's the Australian model. Okay, this isn't showing us anything in the back. Okay, this is simply showing us the bow shock. This is showing us the density, the speed, and then the BZ. Okay, then again, what we're looking for here, -6, right? So let's look at it here. We'll watch what it does. My guess is it's going to, be some pretty intense stuff once this thing hits. And it hit, just a few hours ago. So remember, 4 is normal proton density. And it got into the 20s there, I seen. See it bending our bow shock? Okay, now I want to point something out here too. The density went high, but our wind speed didn't get over 500 yet. So when it, we were still taking a hit, just basically purely off of the density that we were seeing. Now remember, like I said, proton density, or the density of the solar wind, 4 is normal. So anything above that, obviously, is above. And then 3 to 500 kilometers a second is normal solar wind. So when we see stuff above that, yeah. Somebody asking about ISWA. Here, let me do this for you. There you go. There's a link for ISWA. Go in there and have fun, guys. Go look. Go look at all this stuff. Okay, you got so many graphs in here, it's crazy. And if you want to know what these are trying to represent, this is what you got to do. Watch. Just hover over it, and it gives you a definition of what it's representing. You're welcome, Sandra. So yeah, you already got a bookmark tab. Yeah, a lot of people do that's been watching for a while. So yeah. And somebody was in there, I can't remember who was talking about the polar vortex too. Yes, that can definitely, it's not really going to affect space magnetism, but it can compound things here on our planet when we're getting magnetic issues. We can't forget that, when we talk about this, let me show you something. Electron flux. Oh look, they updated finally. Anyway, the electron flux, when we see these little bumps of this stuff, they've been able to trace that back and compare it and make a parallel that when this happens sometimes, quite a few times, the lightning increases. Okay, the chances of, the intensity of it. We've seen the big super bolts happen during these solar storms. We've seen these solar storms actually increase the strength of a hurricane in the direction. So, that they do affect, this does affect things, guys. It's not something that, I don't talk about this for no reason. There's a reason behind it. And this is why. We have to understand that this stuff, even if you take all of the other stuff that we talk about here, as far as the objects we see and the stuff that's come into our solar system and all that kind of stuff, even if you take all that out of the equation, our magnetic field is still 25% weaker. We know that our sun is going to blow some huge CMEs at some point. We know that our magnetic field continues to weaken. We know that the magnetic north and magnetic south are now migrating towards each other at a fast rate, pointing towards either a magnetic excursion or a magnetic pole flip. Either or is going to give us pretty much the same outcome, in case you guys want to know. But that's provable by going back and looking at historic data, as far as catastrophes that's happened on our planet. That's how they prove it. There's no other way to do it, because nobody's been here for any kind of event like that. We have no historic, not even ancient historic data recording of any kind of thing with a pole flip. You know, there's nothing. You know, not like what we see now. So this is why you know, guys, basically that's why I do this. Because I want people to understand that, you know, you need to be doing a little something to try to make yourself okay. Not if, but when something pops off, because it will. And I do think that there are parallels geopolitically to this. Okay, so I would be remiss not to say that. I'm not going to go into that conversation because it does get people fired up, okay? I'm not afraid to get people fired up, but people usually end up having some very passionate views on that, and it ends up being a big fight. And I'm not about that. You guys know that. So I'm just going to show you my observations and tell you that, remember that when all this craziness is happening, look around you too. And if you put it all into the same equation, what's that all equal? Just think about it for yourself. I don't even have to say it. You guys are smart. So that's where I'll stop that. But don't forget that there's stuff happening around us that is definitely needs to be looked into for people. And you need to go look at it for yourself, because I can tell you till I'm blue in the face, and it ain't going to matter until you go look at it for yourself. So that's kind of where I'm at, you know. So that's what I'll say. Now, you know, and when I'm talking about geopolitical, you guys know what I'm talking about. But there's other things too. There's disclosure happening on a lot of different fronts. So you have to ask yourself why. Why are they doing that at this time? Do they know something we don't? Most likely. And that's where I'll end that, you know. And let me say this, and this is where I'll end this part of the conversation. When you got somebody that owns FacePuke, or is the CEO of FacePuke, and the guy that invented the Tesla stuff, I'll just leave it at that. We know who he is. He left Twitter at the same time, the same exact day that Mr. FacePuke stepped down. Does that sound fishy to anybody but me? Why? There's a lot of stuff going on around us. I don't have answers for it as far as exactly, but I can show you my end of it, and that's what I do here, in case people want to know. But here is the geoelectric field model, guys. Okay, this is space weather's effect on our electrical grid. This one over here is still kind of a prototype. They're working on this one. This is more of a 3D. See, this is a 1D. This is what I've been showing you. Once they get this one going, this is the one we're going to be looking at all the time. So I'm going to play this now. Again, this is space weather's effect on our unnatural electrical components. Look what's going on here. See how much more intense it is right here than it is on this one? That's because this is three-dimensional. So, and you're also going to notice where's the higher areas. They're around the bigger cities, the higher populated areas. Look. Why is it showing it like that on these maps? Because there's more unnatural electrical components there, because the population's heavier. Okay, that's why. But this is just another thing I can show you guys to say, hey, yes, we're getting solar weather, or space weather, I should say. So, you know, you can see up and down, you know, it doesn't just stop in a hard line like this. Okay, what this is this is part of their model they haven't got figured out yet. So that's all that it is. Hey Bob, what's up, man? Hey Keith, how you doing, bud? I think I said hi to Della already. Thinker, what's up? Felicia, what's up? Mark, what's up? Kleinfelter, sorry if I butchered that name. Schumann Snow, what's up? I think I said hi to Sandra already. Paula, what's up? I'm sorry I can't say hi to everybody. What was that? Rebel Babe Connor. Cool. That's a cool name. Dusty, what's up? All right, so anyway, we didn't have any CMEs today. I'll just say that. Not really. I'm not going to waste your guys' time looking at this one today. This is spaceweathers.com. Mayo geomagnetic storm. A geomagnetic storm is underway on February 7th. If you'd have went here 3 hours ago, this said something completely different. Nobody, like I said, nobody was expecting this to get into storm level. I think I was pretty much the only one out there saying that it was possible. But, you know, is what it is. You know, just like I say, when it's possible that it's not going to happen, it's always possible that it could. We just, you know, the likelihood of this happening right now was actually kind of small. But I was tying together what they were talking about here yesterday, remember? Going over the heliospheric current sheet. The polarity there. And that's, yeah. So, when we cross over that and have space weather at the same time, yeah, I don't see how we couldn't get into storm level if it happened at that exact timing. And it does look like that's kind of what happened. I don't know if that is exactly, but I think it's a good theory that somebody could try to prove. Doesn't matter. Well, the only thing that it could do is actually help us the next time that something like this happens. If we know that it's happened this time, then maybe we can adjust how we talk about it the next time. That's the only way that it really matters. But they had 14 fireballs, which is actually fairly low. That's a reported also, okay? Noctilucent clouds, they're starting to wane off a little bit. I would think these will hang on for a while, but as we start moving into the new seasons and stuff, these will switch from the South Pole to the North Pole. For people that don't know what a noctilucent cloud is, it is a metallic blue looking cloud in the highest parts of our atmosphere, and it's formed by water vapor freezing around meteor dust. That's what causes these things. And again, like I said before, they were 2 weeks late this year. They were seen in Argentina, which is too far north typically to see them. They seen them twice in Argentina. So, as you can see here, here is the sun. There are no sunspots. That's exactly what they call a blank disk. Okay? So, let's look at the earthquakes again. Oh, wow. Check it out, guys. Yeah. Does that surprise anybody? Don't surprise me. So, you know, you get this one down here. Okay? And now you got this big one over here in the Philippines. Now, they're saying that was 24.6 kilometers deep, which is still fairly shallow. So, yeah. That's definitely, let's go down. That's over land, guys. That sucks. Let's do this real quick since that happened. Let's look at this. Alright, well, right now they're saying that it shouldn't really affect a whole lot here as far as fatalities or economic loss. So that's good. Let's look at the population that it did. So it looks like about, see here, 2, 12, 20, roughly about 30,000 people felt this. So, yeah. If you guys go over here to this, that's all you gotta do is click on that box on USGS. Tell you what, let me click off of that. What I'm gonna do here, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and drop this link. You guys can simply type this into Google too and get there. But there is a link to USGS if you guys want to go there and look for yourself. I highly suggest you do that. But anyway, if you go back here to the green box, you click on it. This shows fatalities and losses. This is just a prediction, okay? The percentage of the possibility. You can get into detail right here of who felt it and where at. It'll tell you how strong here in the population there. Okay? So when we look at this stuff, well, this one over here is actually just showing it for this for the Philippines. Okay, that ain't actually who felt it. Let me show you where the actual felt part of it. It's over here. Okay, so these are the people that actually felt it. This is the total population in that area, I would assume. But that's just, you know, kind of what we're looking at there. Or maybe this is the, let's see here, what's it say here? Secondary effects, selected cities exposed. Okay, yeah, so what they've done here, if you look at the lines, where how far out it went, they've circled where they would think that they would fill these conditions. These must be like the actual, what actually happened. So, yeah, I don't know the difference between those two numbers, to be honest with you. I have to look into that and see why those are a little different. Hey Jeff, what's up? Candace, good to see you. Yeah. Okay. So, this is SDO, guys. I'll show you guys the latest on SDO real quick. Let's go here, hit submit. And you're not going to see much, okay? Again, there wasn't any CMEs or anything that we've seen today. Nothing much going on. You can see there are no sunspots. It is eclipse season here for SDO. That's what you're seeing. You're basically seeing the Earth get in between the satellite and the sun when you see that black go across the screen. It's nothing nefarious or crazy. It's just what you see. Okay? So, yeah. But, yeah. Hey, Fortune Climate, what's up? So, yeah. Yeah, you guys got any questions for me before I get off here? I guess we'll go over here and do this real quick. Actually, let me put this one in here first. Okay, this is Wayne. Watch with Wayne. You guys should go check him out. Okay, I showed you guys him yesterday. I think they actually came over into my room, giving some love. You guys, he shows live streams. He talks about it. It's real talk over there. Okay, he'll show all this stuff. He shows all kinds of different data and all kinds of different live stream webcams, all that stuff. He covers all of it. He does a great job. He's not going to BS you. His chat actually operates a lot like mine does. He'll let you have your opinion. He encourages your opinion, but you got to be respectful, just like here. Okay? So that's what I would say. But please go over here. Here is his link. I think I already posted it in here, but I'm going to do it again. So yeah, there's his link. Please go check him out. You guys won't be sorry. I promise. Now, this is my boy Mark. You guys know Mark. Listen. I can't say anything other than that this guy is nothing but just full of positivity, guys. I'm going to go over here after I get off the live stream. If you guys want to come hang out with me in the chat, please do. There's a lot of other channels I could tell you about right now too that I support. It's imperative that we support each other. Even if we don't 100% agree with what each other is saying, that we can always find stuff that we do agree with. And I encourage anybody listening to me right now to give everybody, and I mean everybody, a chance. I don't care who it is. You're going to find out real quick whether or not you believe them or not, probably within the first 5 minutes. Whether or not you agree with what they're saying, whether or not you think they're off their rocker or whatever. And there are going to be those people out there that are going to be off their rocker. Sorry, it's just the truth. And I would, I guess the thing that I would do is I would point people away from the channels that are trying to say that they're the only ones that have the truth. Okay? You just can't do that. There's still good information there to be found a lot of times, okay? But the ones that are saying that a lot of times were the same people that were trying to tell you to have an open mind 6 months ago. So what are you, you know what I'm saying? And definitely, yes, thank you, Bubba. Go over to Adam from Marfugel News. With me and Mark was talking to him yesterday in the chat over there, guys. He's not there every night, but he stops in. We're working on collabing with each other, just so you guys know. Me, Mark, and Adam. And Dex, obviously. We're working on some stuff, and that'll come in the future. So hopefully we can get that worked out and do some good stuff, I hope that we can all do what we need to do and to really try to, I don't know, just get it out there in a more positive way. We got to be real, though, too, okay? I mean, we just have to. Have to be real. Because none of it means anything unless we are. So, let me share Mark's link here again. And my PayPal link and stuff is in the description. If anybody wants to help me out, it's down there. That's all I'll say about that. And obviously it's always appreciated, never expected, always appreciated. And I'll be updating my list there on my intro for the people that have donated the past couple days. And I just can't tell you guys how much I appreciate you. Even without that, that's not even what I'm talking about. You guys have brought so much positivity to me that I was able to keep doing this. I really wanted to quit. If I hadn't started doing live streams, I would have quit. And the reason why is because the stuff I talk about is negative stuff. And I didn't see any positive coming from it other than awareness. And, the connection I built with you guys, check him out. Look at him. Oh my God, Mark, you're killing me, brother. Look at that. That's so hysterical. I mean, come on. Tell me you don't want to go over here and laugh. I mean, I'm going there. I am going over there. So come on over. I'm going to be in the chat. But yeah, guys. But yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of different stuff, going on around us. And again, guys, I'm just trying to do what I can do and show observations and stuff. Also, I was going to say here too, Scott's been doing some stuff too, trying to. He's going to be coming back probably here in March. And I look forward to that for sure. He's starting to get his stuff handled over there at Planet X News. So I hope that everybody can understand why he took a break and had to go, take care of life. So I hope you guys can kind of understand that from Scott. I really do. So let's, yeah. I'm going over here, guys. So God bless. Yahusha saves, and